state of the Jubilee Party. We pointed out what we believe is the unmistakable end of a covenant between the President and the Deputy President. We urged politicians aligned to the Deputy President to not only come to terms with this reality, but to thrive in it and free themselves to chart bold new paths. Thankfully, since then, the DP's camp has for the first time clearly stated that they acknowledge this to be true, and we welcome this coming to reality. And so tonight we ponder what the end of this covenant means for the nation. There is a political clock that is ticking towards 2022, and various key events, according to the political elite, must take place to ensure as smooth as possible a succession of President Kenyatta. And in our opinion, chief among them is this: President Kenyatta must make good on the unspoken bottom line of the handshake with Right Honorable Raila Odinga. So make no mistake, nothing has stopped reggae, not even the coronavirus. BBI will be back soon to deliver a government which has the face of Kenya, and the first face you will see is Raila's. Because without a doubt, the primary intention of the BBI was to expand the executive, bringing a representative face to the leadership of Kenya for political stability, without which meaningful economic agendas would be impossible. Now, this is the primary intention of BBI, but not the only one. So in order to achieve this face of Kenya, which bluntly means the tribes of Kenya at first glance, one would do well not to just look at Raila's inner circle, but to look further to the kind of governors and other leaders that President Kenyatta is associating with at this time. Now, the question, however, is how will President Kenyatta achieve this new government while COVID-19 stops rallies for the long term? Well, there are various options open to the president, including but not limited to the expansion of the executive by creating new positions in cabinet, and chief among them the return of the prime minister and possibly a hybrid parliamentary system. Now, these kinds of changes would require a referendum. But again, with COVID-19 lurking, a referendum may be impossible. So we hypothesize that the need for a plebiscite will be circumvented by parliamentary initiative, making the expansion superficial at the onset, just like in the 2008 coalition government. But another problem that arises is the constitutional requirement for public participation. And having studied this administration, we suppose that there is every likelihood that the president's men will innovate towards non-contact but public consultation. In the era of Zoom and Skype, public participation could very well go digital, and who knows what else could be digitized. However, COVID-19 may come to an end earlier than we expect, and a referendum hastily put together thereafter. Either way, BBI's intention to expand the executive materializes. Now, all these measures are not those that we are rooting for, but they are the ones that we can foresee. So whatever maneuvering it will take, the writing is on the wall, and there is every likelihood that before this Christmas, Raila Odinga will formally be incorporated into government. We say this not to applaud or dispute this move, but simply to prepare you for what could possibly come. Raila will be in government, and those who don't like it must prepare to defer to him or else ship out. And you can expect that whatever title or powers that Raila will have, they will reflect the supremacy of the handshake before any other political pact. So if President Kenyatta remains number one and then Raila joins him in government, what does this mean about the Deputy President's privileged and constitutional position? Will we be treated to the embarrassing protocol wars that we saw during the Nusumkate government? We suppose not. President Kenyatta would not want a dysfunctional government with so little time left to execute his legacy projects. And it is for this reason that impeachment plans against the Deputy President, which may have been shelved, could possibly be revived. And if the DP appears to continue with this struggle with his boss, then there is every likelihood that he will be formally locked out of government through removal from office proceedings. And whereas due process and grounds for impeachment do matter, with the litany of allegations that the Deputy President faces, both grounds and process could possibly be found and applied in copious amounts by the powers that be. And such an early exit from government would deny the Deputy President access to the resources, the information, and the privilege that his office comes with. But there is one thing that it will not do: weaken his resolve. We must remember, with or without titles and offices, the Deputy President has always been a self-made man and has a resilient political base. And it is this industry that will see him, by whichever means, lead the coalition of those the President will leave behind. And let us make another intervention. All these aforementioned scenarios are not certainties. A day is a very long time in politics, and absolutely anything could happen. But again, the ball is firmly in the DP's court. We remain persuaded that right now his best option is to remember his boss and to defer to him at all times, and to do so speedily. And for the avoidance of doubt, the Deputy President, as a senior political leader, bears a significant measure of responsibility for what his allies say in public and by proxy against the President. And the Deputy President would do well to ask them to follow his lead. And finally, last Sunday, we humbly refrained from advising the Deputy President, but tonight we do so unreservedly. As the handshake eloquently tells us, President Uhuru Kenyatta is the kind of man who can make peace with the most bitter of rivals and offer them cooperation. He is the kind of leader who can reconsider his position, and this is his strength. He's not so determined down a path that he could not forge a new and better one. So if his deputy would consider studying the merits instead of the demerits of the handshake, see the wisdom in the precedent, then through humility, maybe and just maybe the President could still be reminded of the good old days he had with William and how much they achieved together, and find it in his nature to extend his hand once again. But make no mistake, this time, it would strictly be on the President's terms. And those, friends, are the facts. And that's our time and our punchline. I am Kiguta. Thank you so much for watching. God bless you, and see you next Sunday. Bye-bye.